right, and as you guys can see, we have all the cars right over here behind me parked next to each other. This really doesn't happen that often, but since we have them all lined up, let's just take a second to appreciate how good all of these cars look next to each other, especially since we kind of have that like white and black theme going on right now. Now, I'm not saying that's always going to be the case with my cars, but for the moment, it is pretty cool. Yeah, it's just cool to have like this modified car, sort of like a daily sedan, and then even like a family SUV. Like, I really can't emphasize to you guys just how much I love each and every one of these cars. And you guys know already, the 435 is definitely my favorite, and I'm definitely going to miss it when I sell it. Looking at all these cars next to each other, especially the 435, really makes me regret selling this car. But as you guys know by now, it's what we have to do to get to bigger and better things on the channel. But that's not the point of this video. In today's video, what I want to talk about, guys, is one of the most common questions that I get just in person and on the channel, and that is how I'm able to afford all of these cars, modifying these cars, maintaining them, insuring them, because it really can add up and get expensive, guys. I mean, 3 BMWs for an average Joe like me, it is a lot. Now, I'm not saying these are the most special cars and crazy cars out there. It's not like I have 3 insane M cars, but just generally speaking, 3 BMWs is a lot for anyone, even myself. So people ask me all the time how I'm able to afford them, how am I able to afford all the mods, because again, guys, it really can get expensive. Now, I personally watch a lot of YouTube, a lot of automotive YouTubers, and I always wonder how they're able to afford the cars. Some of them, like DDE and Stradman, it's pretty obvious they get millions of hits. Now, obviously, these BMWs are nowhere near the level of like Lamborghinis and Ferraris that they get, but it is still a lot, especially considering I really don't get that many views and I really don't have that many subscribers. So it is a fair question to ask, like, just how am I able to afford all of these cars with a pretty small channel? All right, so I figured we just camp out in the X3. That way I can turn on the AC because it is blazing hot outside, and it's also the most roomy car of all these cars. So anyways, I want to tell you guys about how I make the money to afford these cars. Later on, I'll talk to you guys about like how much I paid for these cars specifically and how I'm able to spend my money wisely when going about these cars, not just in terms of the price of the car, but also maintaining them, modifying them, and all that type of stuff. But first of all, let's just start off with like the revenue and how I generate my income. So to start off, guys, although I do YouTube, I do have a very small channel. It's been growing recently, but overall it's still pretty small. As of right now, I have less than 3,000 subscribers. I probably get, I don't know how many views. Like, my videos, depending on the video, they really don't get that many views. So YouTube is definitely not the way that I'm able to afford these cars, but it does help. I will say that, and I'll get into that a little more in detail later. But my main source of revenue and the main way I'm able to afford these cars is my career. So yes, guys, I do something outside of YouTube. YouTube is definitely not enough to sustain someone, at least on my level. So outside of this, I do work in finance. I went to school for 5 years. I have a CPA, I have an MBA, and I work for some large companies and large firms. I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to bore you guys. So I have like a legitimate full-on career, and then I just really do YouTube on the side. I do YouTube a good amount. Like, honestly, I post like 2 videos every week. So it's almost like having 2 jobs sometimes, but I still love it and I think it's worth it. Now, I'm not gonna say exactly how much I make from that career because I do want to keep some type of privacy, but I will say, guys, it is a good amount. Not only that, but I also am married and my wife has her own income as well. So as you guys know, this X3 M40 is really for my wife. If it was just me as a single guy, I don't think I would have bought this SUV, not just from a financial standpoint, just because I don't think I really need 3 cars. I think the 435 and the 3 Series would have been more than enough for just me. But of course, being that I'm married, I think 3 cars it's still a little excessive, but it's not too unreasonable. But there is more to it than just that, guys. So like I was saying before, YouTube does help me out. I do generate some revenue from YouTube now. I wasn't for the first, I want to say like year or so, but now I am. There is multiple ways of generating revenue from YouTube. Of course, ads, that's like the main one from YouTube itself, and then also like affiliate links. So if you guys ever buy products from like the links that I leave in the descriptions below, I actually get a small commission. But again, it's really nothing too crazy. I will say though, since the channel has grown, I have gotten a lot more opportunities from a lot of great companies like Keys Motorsports, Inline 6 Auto, and even more. Some of them actually partially sponsor some of the mods. Some of them fully sponsor them, so some mods I actually get for free, which is, I'm not gonna lie guys, a very nice thing. Although that's sort of like a spending thing, I'm gonna kind of consider it revenue, because if I get a product for free, that in a way is revenue. At least it is for tax purposes. So I'm gonna count it that way. So that's definitely something that I wouldn't even have just in my career itself, something that YouTube was able to help me out with. So that explains where I get my income from, because I feel like a lot of people think I just do YouTube. That's definitely not the case, guys. YouTube's like maybe 5%, not even, of the income that I make. But there is more to how I afford these cars. It's not just the money that I make, but it's also the way that I spend it. First, of course, starting off with buying the actual car. So just a quick recap if you guys are new to the channel. This is a 2015 BMW 435. This over here is a 2017 BMW 330. And this last one, of course, is a 2018 BMW X3 M40. So right off the bat, you guys can probably notice a theme. All of these cars are pretty old. Well, not too old, but they're definitely not new. Like the 435 I bought 4 years ago, but even when I bought it then, it was 2018. This was still a 2015. The 330 I bought pretty recently, I would say like maybe within the last 5 months. And then the X3 I bought within the last maybe 10 months. But all of these cars, guys, I've bought in a few years old. They all came off of leases. The 435 was actually the only one that I bought certified pre-owned. All the other ones were from just used car dealerships. Now, of course, I do that for a reason. I know a lot of other people do as well. Once you buy these cars used or secondhand, you can get them way cheaper than you can new. Legit, guys, some of these cars I bought for less than half of MSRP. I don't think I'd be able to afford any of these cars brand new. Now, I'm not saying I will never buy a brand new BMW because I am considering it for the car that's going to be replacing the 435. But to buy 3 brand new cars, I think it's just a little too much for me personally. So just to give you guys an idea, I will throw out some rough numbers so you can see just about how much I paid for these cars and how much the MSRP was. So this X3 M40, I want to say the MSRP is about $67,000. I bought this car with 27,000 miles on it for about $38,000. So this is the car that I paid the closest to MSRP. Again, I bought this about like 10 months ago. This 330, I actually don't know the MSRP on this car, guys. It is a base model and it is a 330, so it is a 4-cylinder, but it does have black sapphire metallic paint on it, has a full red leather interior, and it has some nice packages on it still. So I want to say the MSRP on this car is about like $45,000. I really can't say for sure, but I think that's pretty accurate. Regardless, though, I bought this car with about like 21,000 miles on it, and I bought it for only about like 22 or maybe 23,000. And again, this one I bought like 5 months ago. Now the 435 MSRP on this car was about $63,000, but this one I bought for about $31,000. It also had 35,000 miles on it, so it had the most mileage on the car, but still it was less than half of MSRP. And again, guys, I did buy this from a BMW dealership. It was my first BMW, so I did go ahead and get a certified pre-owned car, which had like an extended warranty on it, but still overall a pretty decent price, I would say. Now, I don't know how good of a deal each of those cars were. Some people will probably roast me in the comments saying I overpaid for the cars. I don't really know. I'm sure I probably could have gotten them cheaper if I bought them privately. But regardless though, I feel pretty comfortable about the prices that I paid for these cars. And again, guys, I paid way less than MSRP. Anyways, guys, that's the price of the actual car. Now, in terms of maintenance, I maintain all of these cars mainly myself. That in itself will save you a lot of money. Just doing an oil change, I think BMW charges about $150. Whereas if you do it yourself, you can get the entire oil change kit from FCP Euro for about like $70, $75. That's just one example of a common maintenance item. So that's already about like half the price because you save the price of labor. But then also, guys, if you buy stuff from FCP Euro, you get a lifetime warranty, so you can basically keep on like recycling it. So it's almost like getting oil changes for free at that point. Like, now, I don't do everything myself. There are times where I have to take the car to a shop. I know a great shop in my area, and they're also reasonably priced, especially when you compare it to a BMW dealership. Not that I have anything against BMW dealerships or the people who work there. They're just a little more expensive. But yeah, point is, do the work yourself. If you don't, get a local shop that you can trust, and you can save some money like that. Also, try to get your parts from FCP Euro. Utilize that lifetime warranty. The next thing I want to talk about is modifying the car. So I kind of already touched on this, guys. So in the beginning, I definitely had to buy all the mods myself. I've been very blessed and very lucky to work with a lot of great companies on getting partial sponsorships as well as full sponsorships. So that really helps me a lot in terms of modding these cars, because again, some of these parts I get for free or at least a very large discount. Now, obviously, if you guys don't have a YouTube channel, that's probably not going to apply to you, but I would just say wait for sales. Black Friday, a great time. So yeah, just try to keep an eye out for different sales, for different discount codes. I do have a few discount codes with a few companies like Mashimarho and Inline 6 Auto. So if you guys want to use those discount codes, I'll leave the information down in the description below. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's how I'm able to afford all these cars. Again, they're not crazy cars, but I know a lot of people ask me that. A lot of people wonder, especially how I'm able to constantly mod these cars. I think it's a fair question to ask, and hopefully some of this information helped you guys out in getting your car or modifying your car or even just maintaining your car. I know how expensive this stuff can get and how passionate we are about it and how much we're willing to sacrifice to be able to afford it. So hopefully this can just help you guys out afford it for yourselves. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it informative, or if I just answered your question, please drop the video a like. It really helps me out. But yeah, with that said, this video is pretty much done, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.